Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, The Chevalier, and you're here in Scratches, Director Scott. Let's load the game. Load the game, damn it. Okay, where we have all of this. That means we can do something about this. Now we shouldn't be stuck. Now? Yes! Haha! I immediately regret this decision. Why am I doing this? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Please don't do it. Oh no. Hello? Oh, it has to be the mask. Oh no. Why? I knew there was a mask missing. An odd-looking African mask was positioned in the middle of the storeroom. Its presence made me feel terribly uneasy. Oh shit. The corner was too dark to investigate. There are notes there. Why the bamboo? There was enough light at the moment. Damn it. Okay, I know that there is a mask, that's all we're gonna say. Well, I believe that was a face. Let's get out of here. No leaving without searching the room. Such a good idea now when the lamp was lit. Searching the room, you say? What do you want to search the room for? Stab the fucking mask. Okay, nothing here. Oh! There we go. June 24th, 1962. Dear Christopher, please excuse my tone of this letter. I know I must sound like a ravaging madman, but I truly can't find a proper way to put together all the thoughts that have been taking my sleep away these past days. There is a reason behind all those recent adversities. It's the mask, Christopher. It's that mask I told you about. I wouldn't believe it myself if I hadn't studied its origins on my own, but it's really the source of all my suffering. The tribe it belonged to, I must confess I didn't take the mask by appropriate means. And I fear this might have unleashed some terrible wrath against my life and everything that surrounds me. It's been over a year ago since I witnessed the most strangest acts of violence that not even in my worst nightmares could I have imagined, and the mask was the epicenter of it all. What I was thinking of when I took it is beyond me. It was probably a vicious streak of greed, but I can see clearly now. It represents evil, and I am truly convinced this evil can somehow take shape and punish those who have disgraced it. I did, and now I must face the consequences. I will take some more time to investigate this. I might even go back to South Africa to seek help, although something tells me not even returning the mask will do any good. The danger is already done. The damage is already done, and I believe it's getting worse as the days go by. Every time I walk past the gallery, I can hear some incessant odd chatter, as if someone was being plotted inside. As if something was being plotted inside. And those voices, Christopher, they seem to be angry. Please help me. Come and see me as soon as you can, James. Oh wait, this is another thing. July 3rd. My recent research on the Dalmar have shed some light upon their terrible activities. I understand now that the lack of existing information about them was not only because of their small size and rarity, but also reluctance or rather superstitious attitude toward their nature. Even some of the most important historians of South Africa will refuse to mention their name, usually referring to them as the War Tribe. After digging into some of the most obscure books I could find about the subject, I must admit now that reading them made me very nervous and uneasy, bringing back the memories of those terrible acts I witnessed on that day. I can't understand why any human beings, uncivilized or not, will behave in such manner. War among savage tribes is of course very common and a recurring theme in history, but the Dalmar, they went even beyond that, even beyond war. Unusually, a tribe will engage in battle to conquer new territory or perhaps defeat an enemy. They did it for the sole reason of destruction and extreme love for violence. The account of their actions is downright scary. They invade villages, slaughtering every inhabitant without regard for their sex or age. Men, women, children will immediately perish by their fury and hate, which is, I think, the most unsettling element of their stories. They didn't use any weapons. They killed villagers with their bare hands and teeth as if they were drawing power from the unearthly source. I find it hard to believe this, and if I hadn't seen them with my own eyes, I'd say they were some kind of wild legend. Once they have slaughtered everything living thing in the village, they burn it to the ground. Every single construction or possession of the fallen villagers proved that they definitely were not interested in conquer or even taking some advantage of the terrain. Their motives were moved solely and purely by an incredible disposal of life. Disposal of life and hatred towards anything that wasn't from their village. That is another curious thing. They somehow managed to sustain a constant population level, as if they controlled exactly the amount of people needed for an attack, but at the same time warrant survival using their few existing resources. I fear this wasn't some kind of wondrous organization system, but rather an elimination process of a useless member or an unnecessary child. I dare not think about it, but I'm afraid this will explain why they didn't need to hunt for food. They feasted upon themselves. Now I know what the mask I took stands for, and I shiver at the thought of it. I must confess I'm worried. I don't know why, but I fear for my life. I will be out, thank you. What was that? As it turns out, the hidden room belonged to the son of the Blackwood family. I still can't tell why it was bricked off, but I should try and see if there's still around. He may be the only one that can tell me what happened inside this house. The hidden door in the gallery led to a small storeroom. There was a strange mask inside and more members belonging to James Blackwood. And more mementos belonging to James Blackwood. The developments of his story is really getting into me now. I can almost feel his suffering, and that mask seems to be the key to the mystery. I think it's getting dark now. Call Jerry. Nope. PM. Okay, what should I do now? Perhaps it was time to do some work. Inspired by the events that occur. Perfect. Suddenly, she stopped and stood there, paralyzed, hesitant to give any credit to what her eyes were seeing, and completely unaware of the potential danger situation. Surprisingly, there wasn't anything unusual or strange about the event. Little Cathy was hastily crossing the living room towards the huge oak door, her fancy black dress fluttering at every footstep. As the girl reaches the doorknob, she turned to look back at Marianne and urged her with a whisper to hurry up. But Marianne wasn't seeing Cathy. Her memories haunted her back and displaced reality, giving room to the nightmarish vision she had spent months trying to forget ever since her first visit to the old house. In her dreams, she saw the little girl also wearing a black dress emerging from a passageway hidden in the room. She never actually managed to glimpse where the passage was, only saw the girl running towards her, her small face contorted into a horrible grimace. Marianne quickly realized it was a twist version of the Cathy she wouldn't knew later, as if her figure was then distorted by the veil of smoke. Her exact movements through the room, reaching for the knob, facing her back, those were too many coincidences to ignore. It wasn't a nightmare that she experienced that day, nor a ghost, something she refused to believe in, but was not willing to blindly embrace as the truth, given the shocking vividness of the vision. A ghost will come from the past. What she'd seen came from the... Her thoughts were interrupted as a figure behind her cast a shadow across the doorstep. "You filthy liar, you have betrayed me," grumbled a deep voice. Huh. The discoveries I have made in the house were too exciting to stop now. I thought that maybe I could investigate further today and return to work tomorrow. Investigate further? Tired as I was, it was too early to go to sleep. What else do you want to investigate? There is nothing more to investigate. Call Jerry? Jerry! Jerry! Oh god, he's going to pick up. Oh, this is it.
Jerry, it's me. You won't believe what I found here.
Try me.
It's about the happenings that led to the murder you told me about. There's an impressive backstory surrounding this place and many loose ends. It would seem nobody ever stumbled upon this.
Shouldn't you be working on your book?
Are you listening to me? James Blackwood was into some very weird stuff, and possibly dangerous. Something tells me this case is much more complex than it was thought to be.
Why don't you inform the authorities? I'm sure they'll be dying to reopen a long-forgotten case about some crazy old psycho killing his wife.
No way. And miss all the fun? I'm doing this on my own. I wonder if those noises I heard have anything to do with this. Maybe James Blackwood was trying to hide something.
Like in that book, where an old man was guarding the entrance to hell. I bet this James Blackwood person had a doorway like that in his basement. Those dreadful noises must be the sounds of the damned coming for you.
Why, thanks, mate. That's been very helpful. Great to have friends like you.
Then stop talking about all this nonsense. Do you have any idea how crazy it sounds? You're a writer, not some fancy PI.
I'll get to the bottom of this. I know I will. I'm certain there's much more to James Blackwood than a simple act of murder.
Now you're sounding more morbid than usual. Simple act of murder? Oh goody. Just somebody died, nothing to worry about. This isn't like you, Michael. This whole thing is really affecting you.
Stop being a drama queen. I'm a grown-up and I'm pretty aware of what I'm doing.
Fine, go chase around the ghosts of James Blackwood. I'll stay here in the real world.
I'll let you know about my progress.
I'll let you know how my progress. Oh boy. Now what? Much things happened in this episode. Well, that's all for today, folks. I hope you have a blast. See you next time on the Lost Chevalier channel. Bye bye.